Hi, my name is Ryan Huschka. I am the Associate Professor of Chemistry here at Newman University, and I am also an alum, class of 2007. I'll be sharing this week's Advent Reflection. To all God's beloved in Rome who are called to be saints. St. Paul writes this sentence at the beginning of his letter to the Romans in chapter 1, verse 7. St. Paul is bluntly telling the early Christians in Rome that they are called to be saints. In fact, we are all called to be saints in our own unique way. I often ask myself, how am I called to be a saint? It seems like such an overwhelming and honestly an unachievable goal. You see, the saints are a very eclectic group of holy men and women who lived fascinating lives. For example, Saint Therese of Lisieux lived what seemed to be a very mundane, private life as a religious sister. But it was only after her death that others learned about what she called living the little way, which was performing small acts of kindness for others with great love. On the other hand, St. Mother Teresa of Calcutta lived a very public life of service by caring for the poorest of the poor in India. And then there is St. Francis of Assisi, who had such a profound impact on the world for both Christians and non-Christians that Time magazine ranked him as one of the top 10 most influential people that lived in the last 1,000 years. So clearly, the saints lived lives of heroic virtue, or to put it another way, they all exemplified the extraordinary love of Jesus Christ. And again, I'm kind of left wondering, how am I supposed to imitate the amazing lives of the saints? Honestly, I find it difficult at times to love others in very small ways with great love. In my day-to-day life, I don't serve the extreme poor, and I certainly don't appear to be living a life worthy to be called a man of the millennia. Well, in today's gospel, we hear the story of a great saint, Saint Joseph, right? The early father of Jesus. In the first chapter of Matthew's gospel, this is what it reads. An angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary your wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called Emmanuel, which means God with us. When Joseph woke from sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him. He took his wife. Now I imagine when Joseph awoke, he was filled with anxiety and fear. However, St. Joseph responded to God's command with a firm yes. St. Joseph's yes ensured that Mary was safe, so Jesus, Emmanuel, could be born. Emmanuel means God is with us. Jesus, fully man and fully God, chose to come and be with us on earth. He came to be with the righteous, but more importantly, he came to be with sinners. On earth, Jesus spent time with tax collectors and prostitutes and drunkards and all kinds of sinners. He spent time with sinners to show his extraordinary love by serving them and forgiving their sins. He came to forgive you, and he came to forgive me of my sins. So, if the God of the universe chose to be with us on earth, then during this last week of Advent, let us commit to being with him. Let's commit to following St. Joseph's example of saying yes to God in the midst of anxiety and fear. In this way, being in communion with God, we can fulfill St. Paul's calling to become saints.